Hey everybody, it's me, Patrick, with another video lecture. This time, I'm Batman. No, literally, look. I've got my Batman shirt on right here, see? I'm Batman. But why do I bring, who cares? Why am I bringing that up? Because today I'm going to talk to you about culture and co-cultures and some components of culture. So first, let's talk about what the difference between culture and co-culture is. Well, first of all, culture is made up of your background. It could be your country of origin. It could be your religious background. There's so many different things that make up culture. Co-culture is generally a smaller culture that coexists with a larger culture. So let me give you an example just to kind of make this a little clearer. In America, we have something called American culture. A co-culture that exists with American culture is Texas culture, right? People in Texas have their own sense of culture. Well, this is a co-culture to American culture because Texas is part of America. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, let me know, because this is going to be really, really important, knowing the difference between culture and co-culture, how to describe them. Culture, if you want to think about it this way, is going to be really, really big. It's going to encompass a lot of things. Co-culture is going to be smaller and is part, like an umbrella. It's kind of like under the umbrella of that larger culture. Now today I'm going to talk about the four components of culture, and these four components can also be seen in co-cultures, and so that's going to be really, really important to remember. These four things are symbols, language, norms, and values. Okay, it's not the order they are in the book. I'm looking at the book right now. It's actually symbols, language, values, and norms, but the order doesn't really matter. You know, all that matters is that you understand the concepts themselves. So let's talk about what these words mean. The first word is symbol. The symbol of a culture is something that stands for that culture, that when you see it, you go, oh, that is that culture. So for example, if you're a Christian, seeing the cross is a symbol. The little fish that you see on the back of cars, the little fish symbol, that's a symbol of Christian culture. So these symbols are things that stand out, that when you see them, you go, oh, well, that is that. Now, if you're a geek, you might see the Batman logo and go, oh, that's a symbol of geek culture. And yes, I am a geek. It's all right. For those of you who are offended by that, I'm sorry. I'm a geek, and if you are a huge Batman fan like I am, you're probably a geek too. Next, we have language. Language identifies a culture because a lot of times the culture is defined by the language it speaks. In America, we primarily speak English, but a lot of Americans also speak Spanish. And there's other Americans that might speak other languages, such as Vietnamese or French or German. And so these all define that culture. Obviously, the larger part of America speaks English. The larger part of Texans speak English. The geek culture, we speak English as well. Now, there's also other types of language we might use. We'll talk more about that in Chapter 5. It's called slang. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about are values. Values is what a culture holds to be dear to them, things that they believe to be true. So, for example, some American values might be truth and justice and freedom. These are American values. Texas values might be things like love of our fellow man, or love of barbecue. I don't know, it's kind of a weird value, but I think we do love barbecue a lot. Love big trucks as well here in Texas, it seems like. So these are values that we might hold true. In geek culture, we might hold true as a value that everything we do can affect other people. We might think that's a value because we believe in connectivity a little bit. I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with an example. The final thing is norms. Norms are things that we do as part of that culture. So an American norm, for example, is when we meet somebody, we greet them with eye contact and we shake their hands. That's a norm of American culture. However, in other cultures, that's not the case. In some Asian cultures, eye contact is not made. That's the norm. And instead of shaking hands, you might bow. And again, these are norms that differ between cultures. Norms are different than values. Values are what people believe. Norms are practices. And that's something sometimes people mix up a little bit. So that is our culture discussion in a nutshell. We have culture. We have co-culture. We have The four components of culture, those are symbols, language, values, and norms. I'm all excited today because, Batman is coming out. And if for those of you watching this in future semesters, this is the day Batman Dark Knight Rises is coming out in theaters, and I'm really stoked about it. So if you're like, why is he wearing a Batman shirt? And that's why. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. Bye.